starting and moving on moving out of corporate job is concerned. But till 2019, you were working.
Yeah, so actually I tried to quit my job in 2016.
But this is in Mercedes itself?
In Mercedes itself.
Okay.
So they offered me part-time. So they were kind enough to make a policy for me and stuff like that. So I was the only part-time working employee there. I used to work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And the other 4 days I had for myself to work on music.
Boy, you were living the post-COVID life before anybody else.
Yeah, but then I got cocky again. I was like, I have this both the best world kind of a thing. I got carried away. Then eventually I ended up quitting the job, But till 2019 I was working. Yeah.
And that was with Mercedes
with
itself?
Mercedes itself.
And did any of your colleagues or anything have some sort of a scuffle with you? Dude, how is this guy getting all these things?
Yeah, see, the thing with me was I was good with my job. So no one would fuck around with me because of that. I would be like, okay, I've done my work, and I had good managers, so they would support me, and that way, like, they wouldn't, fuck around with me, or it wouldn't work because I was good with my work. End of the day, that's what they expect, right? As far as you do your job right, no one cares how you're doing it or, what else you're doing. So that way, I think they hated me, but I can't do anything about it.
And also for those of you who are watching the interview must be wondering, I've heard Gubbi's song, there's no curses, only who is this person now? Well, we're having the same discussion. Yeah. And I think you need to have a free flow of conversation. Sometimes I know we got to hold on to a language.
Right.
But it is what it is. When you converse, you got to let yourself to be free. Otherwise, you're not going to be yourself. Yeah. And I believe in that part. So speak your heart out, bro.
I think now, after we spoke about it, I got to thinking as to why I don't curse in my songs. I think I wanted to, I don't know, no matter how many other people listen to me, I wanted to be a positive influence on the younger generation. I think that's when I took a call to not curse in my songs. So, not that they are not aware of it, right? If someone is looking up to me, if they realize that I'm consciously not cursing, then I think they'll because that's how it starts, right?
Yeah.
They think it's a cool thing to do. But there's nothing cool or not cool about it. It is like, at least now things are a lot more normal. But I think when I started rapping, when you curse, you're like, oh, yo, macha, I said fucked up.
You remember that particular line that you, Ojjoju, Alabaloju or something?
Oh, no. I've never heard of that.
Okay, I think this is more like ICC school thing.
No, oops. Okay.
No, we're not doing a battle or a banter. We're just running back in time in memories.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so like you said, the cursing, of course, a lot of people, it's very easy today to take into what's on the internet compared to, I wouldn't say during our times to make it sound old, but of course today the internet is faster and everything is like so easily absorbed, and the sponge level of brains that people have today. Yeah. I'm glad we got what we had.
Yeah. You were in ICSE Joseph's?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know you were in ICSE of...
Oh, no.
Because they have both state and...
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Okay.
So that's why I think we met, Anirudh, I think, from there.
Anirudh.
Acharya.
Anirudh Acharya, yeah. Wait.
But the actor. Yeah,
the actor. Right. Oh, he was in Joseph's.
Yeah, I
didn't know that. We've never spoken about that whenever he and I have met.
Yeah, he's not the kind who will talk about anything, bro.
Our man is always with the glass. I've never...
Give me one person who's spoken about him and has not mentioned the glass.
I've never met... I think I've barely met him sober. Maybe once out of the 70-80 times I've run into the dude.
I spoke to him yesterday, and I asked him, fuck, you're drunk or I was early in the morning. No, whatever.
Yeah.
Alright, moving on to Anirudh. I think he always takes the limelight sometimes with people, especially with the glass. Alright, so coming to the recording part, right?
Right.
So you decided going to take this as a career.
Right.
To understand, okay, what does it need to record? Was there a reason for you to record and how did you go about it?
So the first recording we did was... on my computer with what do you call that? Conference mic. We recorded that for the first time we recorded on, I think, Audacity. Audacity. We recorded on Audacity for the first time with the conference mic. I remember putting a blanket over my head and recording like that. But I think when we record and we put it out, I think it's out there, more accessible. And we see our idols, putting out songs. So I think that's when the whole process of recording started. Eventually, we ended up going to a friend's studio, Samuel. I think he was part of this band called All the Fat Children. Yes, Sam. So he had his studio, I think, adjacent to a church near St. Joseph's. So there I recorded for the first time. I think his brother is also a musician. He was part of this band called Slain, was it? I think.
Judah.
Not Judah. You're talking about Judah Sandy, right?
Yeah.
Not him. The keyboardist of the band.
Jonathan, I think.
I think Jonathan, yes, Jonathan. I think Sam and Jonathan recorded my first studio session. And they had a fancy, nicely soundproof like this. And when I went to them, I'm like, holy shit, this is how a recording studio is, kind of a thing. Too. So that became a thing, right? Like we were still, trying to record from our home, but when we saw the difference in the quality and stuff like that, we started visiting studios. So I think recording in the studio over and over again, I think changes. We learn how to modulate our voice because you're able to hear yourself. And I think that way, as an artist, you can, change. Yeah.
So would you like to wrap it out for us?
I would be super embarrassed to rap because it was about not doing drugs. I think it's when something like we're trying to make a rap about doing drugs to convey people that it really, really sucks. Some shit like that. So that was a song we recorded at our home setup for the first time. And now when I look back, I'm like, what was I thinking?
This is like when people look back at their Facebook memories. What was I even looking like?
It's nice you brought up that whole Facebook thing. I recently downloaded all old embarrassing pictures of my friends, my musician friends. I'll show it you later. And how they looked. They forgot to put all that pictures as private folders. And I went right in front of them. I showed it to them. They're like, no, don't do it. So yeah, Facebook. Yeah.
I mean, so social media plays well in some situations at least. Well, so that's where you started off in terms of recording your sessions and your tracks and stuff.
Yeah.
While you were doing this, you're still working. Now, did the parents know about it then?
No. I think when I started recording, I was still in college. They had no idea about it. I would still put it out on Facebook and all that stuff. So they still didn't know. I think when they got to know was when, the first part of it was when my marks started going down. Then they were like, nah, you're not doing this. My dad used to say this, orchestra serkontya. And now, actually, he's so proud. He's become like my family side marketing manager. So whenever I put out a song, he sends it to all the family members, and stuff like that. But yeah, back then he used to be pissed because obviously, right, your child is going to college, but not not studying, getting fuck all marks.
It's every South Indian family parents, terror to see their child do this.
Yeah, yeah.
And for you to, just decide to do something called rap and then, which is alien, of course, to most of our parents. And then you're like, hoitu, ella hoitu.
There were phases of it. So next part was when I started working, they were like, you have a nice job. Why are you doing this? It's pointless kind of a thing. But it's hard for them to understand, right? Eventually then, to me, even working part-time, they were like, okay, this guy I don't know if he's really going the right direction. Then to quitting my job, but when I quit, I told I'm on sabbatical. They lost their shit. Okay, I ended up telling them about me quitting the job was because just before I got married. I got married last December, and they were like, they knew that I was on a break or whatever, sabbatical. So I told that my girlfriend and I, we want to get married in our own money. Then they're like, where are you getting the money? Because they're with the assumption that I'm not earning money or enough money
without the job.
Yeah, without the job. Then they're like, how are you doing this? Like, I told, I've been making money out of my music and stuff like that. Then they're like, is there anything else that is, not that you're hiding from us? What else? What about that job? Do you still have it or have you quit it? I told I quit it. And they're like, when did you quit? I told 2019. My mom just got up and left.
Oh God.
She was mad at me for 2-3 days. But then eventually I had to tell it to them. It was a very famous story amongst my friends, like if my mom hears this or sees this, she's going to be super mad. But my friends, every time I met them, they would be like, did you tell your parents about you quitting the job now? I was like, nah. And we would laugh about it and stuff like that. But then when it got to that point where I'm taking a much bigger decision in my life of, getting married, at that point, I was like, you know what, I shouldn't hide it from them anymore.
Because I think even her reputation in the house is going to be taken a hit if you don't, break things open.
So actually she knew, her parents knew that I'm a full-time musician and stuff like that. It's just that my parents didn't know specifically. I told my sister also. But my parents, because, they're a little older. So they come from a different school of thought. So telling them that to them would be so heartbreaking. So what I did was, I told them something which is much harder to digest. That is, there's this girl, I'm in love with her, I want to get married to her. Now that you are aware of this, I actually quit my job a couple of years ago. So they were like, they didn't know
which one's worse.
Yeah, so I think that way it worked in my favor. But now I think also that conversation came up because my mom was like, I think now you should go back to your work because getting married, there'll be another person you have to take care of and stuff like that. So I was like, I don't think so. I'm gonna go back. I don't think I'm ever gonna go back. And that's when this conversation came up. Yeah.
Well, I mean that. It was not like I don't think you ever wanted to tell them, but always that fear as as with our parents that what is it going to be like? You just want to procrastinate,
Yeah,
and then
I'm still scared of my parents. I lied to them for no reason, and my wife was like, "You could have just told them the truth. They can handle it. You're a grown up, right?" Like I don't know that whole.
I'll always remain that child.
Or traumatized from my childhood.
Oh, we're not going down that road.
You haven't got enough sleep, also. So
In terms of your art form and you as an artist, as you start recording and all these things, right? Now, people have this idea about rappers. It's easier for them to put out a track or a song quicker than any other genre.
Right.
What is the reason or what is the advantage that is there with a rapper compared to another musician?
I think what happens with rappers is most of the rappers end up producing their own songs. So they already have that skill set. They already know what kind of sound they want. Another thing is most of the rappers write their own songs, right? So actually, pretty much all rappers write their own songs. So I think that's a skill they've worked on for years. So I think writing a song becomes much more easier for them. And if you look at rap as a genre, the focus is more on the lyrics part of it than the music part of it, not as much as any other genres of music, right? Like in terms of, let's say, the arrangement of a song, right? So we would go, if we were to do a typical rap song, we would go with the verse, chorus, verse kind of a setup, right? And our beats, most times the BPM doesn't change. It's a 4x4 time signature, and most part of it is looped. Right, so for us, our focus is something else in the song. So I think that is a little frowned upon, but it is what it is. Our process is different from how other musicians work on. But when I work with other like say a bunch of live musicians, the approach becomes very different because instruments are involved and stuff like that. But we go more in the direction of sampling something, looping something, producing the beat with the beat pattern on a machine than live drums, stuff like that. So that way I think it becomes much more easy. And now there's like a plethora of beats available online where you can just buy beats for like $1,500 to $2,000 and record at home, process it, and just put it out. So I think it becomes much more easy.
For a lot of people, when you say that you have to buy the beats and stuff, right? Now what happens is in today's time there's a lot of copyright and music policies that come into play. So when you buy the beat, what is it like for someone? You own the beat?
No, there are terms and conditions as to where you and who you buy it from, right? So if you want just like, let's say I buy the most basic version of it, that is an MP3 and WAV without the stems, right? So they say that you can distribute up to so many copies of it. Okay, that doesn't stop the other person who's bought it to put a copyright strike on yours, but you can always, respond to that telling when you buy it, you get a document with it telling that you have the commercial rights for this.
Okay.
So you can always, respond to that person. It has happened to me because I've bought a lot of beats online. I've worked on it. And when that happens, you can always, write back to them telling them, I have the commercial rights for it. I have bought it from so-and-so. And if you want me to, I can present a document which tells that. So that time the copyright strike gets taken down. But yeah, that's one downside to it. But when you look at artists, who don't have an idea of how production happens or don't have access to producers, I think it's a great option for them. They look up, they find a beat, they like it. If it's up for sale, they can buy the most basic version of it because, like, you can buy beats within $5,000, and what is $5,000 now, right? So you party 3 times and you've spent that much money, or probably once.
See, this artist making a lot of money. What is $5,000 now?
No, what I mean is, like, see, the value of money has come down.
Yeah,
right?
definitely. So, in terms of the earning capacity of people has increased. So that way.
And, when we step out, we end up spending at least one grand, right?
Yeah.
You skip 5 times, you can buy a beat, right? If you're really passionate about it. So I think instead of, I think that's where I see a lot of people going wrong. That they don't want to spend money to buy the beat, but they want a good song.
Uh-huh.
They don't want to spend money to get it nicely mixed and mastered, but they want it to sound nice. So I think that people should invest in themselves more. I think this is also a lesson learned for me the hard way. When I was doing my 9 to 5, I spent a lot of money on sneakers and fancy clothes and stuff like that. had I spent that on buying better equipment and, spend it, mostly equipment. Had I, spend more time on that, more money on that, I think I wouldn't be where I am now, actually. Like in terms of, going back and I'm like, had I done that, this could have sounded better.
There's always that regret point, and there's always that trail back to a certain point in life. I wish, and all that stuff. But one more thing I want to understand in this is, okay, say for example, someone has to pick up these particular beats, right? Now, is there a specific platform, or it's also people that you know of in and around the circle?
You're saying working with a producer or buying beats online?
Buying beats is one, of course, some people buy it off online.
Yeah.
And there are some guys who get it off of a producer locally they know as well.
Correct.
So where are these platforms that people can pick it up of?
If you search for beat producers, you'll find them on Google.
Okay, so that's how you search. That's the Google term to search.
Yeah, beat producers. And actually, if you're in the hip-hop genre, you will know someone who's a producer. Mm-hmm. So you can just hit them up. And most of the beat producers are super nice people. They don't even expect you to, pay. They say, you know what, the first track, let's just collaborate, let's figure out how our dynamic works. And of course there are ones who are already at a certain level. They're nicer to independent artists. They say, okay, this is what I would charge a client, but you're an independent artist, here's a different price bracket for you. Mm-hmm. So like that, I know a lot of producers who have been nice to me and who have worked with me that way. So they still exist. So I think rappers, if you're looking for beat producers, just look for them, hit them up. If not, just learn it by yourself, because it's become such an easy process to have access to knowledge, right? Like I started doing a course on beat production on Udemy, and it's amazing. It's amazing as to how much, because you're already a musician, there are so many things you already know and understand. When you get a little more legit knowledge about it, you're like, shit, this is damn cool.
I mean, I can't believe you mentioned Udemy, because even I did a course in Udemy on social media marketing.
Okay.
And stuff. Of course, that's one of the courses I didn't finish compared to my education. The reason I asked you about all of this is because I want to understand, what is your idea about the hip-hop scene in Bangalore and in India?
I think it's super popping right now, because looking at the kind of projects we get now, I have done bank ads where I've rapped, and I've done I did one for BBC recently to create awareness about not using plastic and stuff like that. So I think now rap is super popping, and I think it's also a very cool. See, if you look at a rapper, right? There's a persona that comes along with the rapper, like the coolness, the way the person carries himself,
the swag.
And stuff like that. Yeah. So that is definitely kind of like, actually rap has become pop now, right? If you look at pop songs, you hear them use the trap beat, the 808s, the trap beat,
and also pattern. The collaborations that come in and stuff like that. So rap is super popping in India right now, and I think Bangalore, we have a lot of good rappers, and there's a good scene happening. I hope there are more live shows in Bangalore apart from your college and corporate gigs. Generally just hip hop shows, but I think Bangalore, the scene is good. So there was this Humming Tree, I would like to mention the place. I think you've performed there also, I'm guessing, right? So there is no venue of that sort yet in Bangalore, although some are just building up slowly post the COVID era.
I heard Humming Tree is coming back.
Whoa, that's news. That's news.
Yeah.
And that also excites us as a brand, because we want to focus on Hindi artists, and not Indie artists.
Okay, what?
We're not focusing on Hindi artists. We, of course, would love to have Hindi artists.
Yeah.
But so I just want to know, do you think there's a Humming Tree, but do you think there should be a lot more places that do something like this, because of the fact that the city is not stuck to only Indiranagar and Cambridge Layout and stuff. Right now, we've just gone, wider and wider on all angles.
Yeah.
So what is your idea? Do you think there could be a lot more places, or there are more places that already exist?
There are places that exist, but the sound is not up to the mark. You see, that's what happens. I think what happens is that in shows, what I have observed the most is, even when I go to certain colleges or schools, right, the hospitality is top notch. The way they take care of us, the way they invite us, even the payment, everything is sorted, but the sound is not. And I think a lot of people forget that end of the day, the sound is what we want. Like, that's why I've heard artists like Raghu Dikshit and stuff, they do the sound check for hours together sometimes until
they have
get
a specific
the right sound.
tech rider.
Yeah, they have specific tech rider. They don't go on stage until the right sound, comes through. So, which is what an artist's focus should be. And I think that is kind of lacking in a lot of rappers. I see that rappers don't pick up right miking techniques and stuff. I'm going in a different direction, but coming back to venues also, a couple of venues where I've played, the sound is not right. The place is not rightly treated. Either that or they don't have the right basic sound equipment where, we would face issues while we were performing. And stuff like that. So I think if they can take care, that's not the case when it was Humming Tree. Humming Tree, the sound was on point, right? Even if you have look at fandom, right? The sound is on point. You have people who focus on the sound aspect of it. I think if venues are focusing on the sound part of it, we're good. Because on social media, you see people posting pictures and small clips with some other song on it. It looks so damn cool.
I mean, do we have to speak about that part of social media?
I actually wrote a line about it, I think. Let me quickly pull up. I think something about how an artist, how they look on social media and what...
Give it to us, Gubbi. Give it to us.
Rappers look alive in their IG, but in live, they rap like they need an IV.
Yeah. Also, you said you went in a different tangent. I like the fact that you brought it up because that, brings me to another point of, questioning and understanding, or rather coming to terms with this part. So you said a lot of younger rappers or, some rappers are not good at technique. They don't know the tech rights or something like that, or they can't demand that, right?
Right.
But that also comes with where they stand as an artist currently at this point in time. It's a great advice, but that also comes into a point where he can start or she can start or they can go on to ask a certain tech writers when they've hit that particular place in the industry.
Yeah.
Because I come even from emceeing when I do gigs.
Yeah.
I can't say only want that sure mic to come.
No, not that tech writers. So when I spoke about the tech writers, I was talking about the venues. But when it comes to rappers, I was talking about the miking technique.
Okay.
So the way they hold the mic, they cup the mic, they hold it close and stuff like this, and you can barely hear anything.
It's like,
yeah. And they scream on the mic. The whole idea of mic is amplification. Why are you screaming? Or if you're screaming, they need to know that you need to move the mic a little farther from your...
Man, I just went in...
Yeah. So you see that the clarity is not coming through, right? The beat is banging, crowd, you have the crowd, but then I'm not able to hear what you're saying.
That's throating eventually.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but yeah.
Not deep throating.
I wanted to say that, but yeah. Yeah, I mean... See, I'm a very technical guy, right? Like if I'm watching a rapper, if I want to listen to a rapper, I want to hear what you're saying. Or I want to see you come through with that nice flow, nice, delivery, nice sound, right? Even if you're not there in terms of clarity. But if that is lacking, right, you can wear like baggy t-shirts, your cap, your Superfly sneakers and stuff like that. But then if you can't deliver on the mic, I'm sorry, bro.
You can look as good as you want, but...
Yeah, but you don't have the stuff, right? Because you're a rapper, okay, I get it. The whole persona comes with it. They want to do everything else around it. Drink, smoke up, everything. But they don't want, when it comes to time to delivery, they're like slacking. I think that should be the primary focus.
I'm going to come back to that thought, but since you also mentioned something about the way a rapper dresses up, those loose, baggy t-shirts and pants, the Jordan sometimes, and mostly, shoes that are a little puffed up.
Yeah.
This goes with the identity of the music genre, of course.
Right.
But why? Is it because it's in the West, or you just tend to ape it, or also because you suddenly start feeling comfortable because all your life you wore like these pants that are below your waist, tight, and sometimes up till your stomach or navel and all that.
Yeah.
Suddenly you drop the pants below your buttocks, and then this t-shirt can fit into 3 more people along with you.
Yeah,
I just want to understand the style part of it. Comfort, of course, but then some people fake the thing about saying comfort.
Yeah.
Because I know some rappers who don't wear tight clothes.
Right.
But then, just curious about this thought.
It starts off as aping the ones you look up to. At least that's how it started for me. And there is actually a documentary I'll share with you as to where they explain the whole obsession about sneakers and huge clothes and stuff like that, right? Because you had to look top of your game, kind of a thing, right? That was the whole coolness concept of Western or what the blacks did, right? It starts off like that, but then you're right, Bugga. I'm telling you, when you wear loose clothes, so fucking comfortable. You are like, I don't care what, how you look at me or whatever, but I'm going to wear double XL t-shirts just because it's very comfortable.
Well, if it's all about breathing easy, then I think shouldn't be anything on at all, because that's for sure breathing easy. Unfortunately, we can't be a certain kind of people to not wear anything and walk on the road. But thanks for bringing that up. But then again, you said, speaking of these people, right?
Right.
In terms of